Hello, Ahorja. Welcome to Stories, Legends and Wonders of Aran. Aran is also known as Inis Mór, the largest of the three Aran Islands. I'm Dara Malloy, Dara Ómé Lia Ascailge. So I'm walking now out of Kironan on the low road and I'm heading towards the Viking Mound. And it's just in front of me here. So I'm up on top of the mound now, and you can see that it's surrounded by a stone wall. And actually, if you were to go back hundreds of years, the stone wall was a much better built wall. You can see the base of it just along the edge of the present wall. So this was almost like a walled garden. And apparently, in later centuries, it was used to bury people. It was a graveyard, and we have some gravestones over here. So we have stones here with, you can see a cross carved on them. So clearly there were people buried here on the surface of the mound. But that's not the original purpose of the mound. It wasn't to bury people in this way on the top of the mound. This is a mound that was created by humans. This is not a natural hill. Underneath this ground that I'm walking on is sand and loose stones, and it'll bring you the whole way back down to the level of the land around us. So this is a human-made structure, and we can use our imaginations to think about how this structure was built. And the local lore here, the legend if you like, is that it was a Viking ship that is used to bury the leader of the Vikings. So we know the Vikings attacked here. The monasteries were all through this island, and we know they attacked here in the 9th century, around the 9th century, and that they destroyed some of the monasteries. They'd set them on fire and kill people and rob everything they could and so on. They were horrible, horrible people. But apparently one of the leaders died. And one of the rituals for Vikings, when their leader dies, and he's the captain of his ship, is they bury him under his ship. So can you imagine him being put down here on the ground as a dead person, and then this mound, well, this ship put on top of him upside down, and then a big mound of stones and sand built up around the ship. So this looks like an upturned boat. Very big, mind you, but it does look like an upturned boat, and it's right beside the seashore, so you can imagine them dragging the boat up and turning it upside down on top of the Viking leader. Let's go up here a bit. You can see now how close we are to the sea, and it's very easy to imagine the Viking ship being brought up here and turned upside down on top of the Viking leader. Now, one of the interesting things about this story, if you use your imagination, is that Vikings had their own religion, you know. And when they died, they believed that they went to a place called Valhalla. And when you were buried in a ritual in order to prepare you for Valhalla, they put you lying down, and then they put beside you all that you needed for your journey. So they gave you some food, so there'd be food down there underneath us for the journey that the Viking leader had to make. They gave you a sword and they gave you a shield. They gave you some money. And here's the thing, they put a woman down beside him. So we think they probably either had to capture a woman or kill a slave woman or somebody who'd been killed in battle to put down beside her, so that this leader had company on his journey to Valhalla. So all of those things are down underneath us here, and nobody has ever excavated it, apart from the rabbits. So maybe the rabbits found the food and the money, but none of the rest of us have found anything. So we can only use our imagination. This island is so full of historical monuments that it'll take forever to do archaeological studies on all of them. There have been superficial studies done, like where they got machines to radiate waves and so on down through the ground to see what they could pick up on the machine, but nobody has ever excavated it, and maybe they shouldn't, because I suppose you destroy it if you excavated it. So let's just hold our imaginations and think of it as the Viking Mound, under which this Viking is on his way to Valhalla. These stories and all the other stories that are to be found on the Aran Islands can be found in my book Pocket Guide to Aran, Legends in the Landscape, and that's available from our website www.ashlingpublications.com, with Aisling spelled AISLING, so ashlingpublications.com.